A warm welcome to you. This is Platform. I'm Ruth Aguwele. Education still remains the engine room for growth and development of any nation. Nigeria is not exempted. Education, being a process of teaching and learning, is evaluated through examinations at the end of a learning period. Examinations not only serve as a feedback to ascertain the level of knowledge, skills, and attitude acquired, but also serves as a means of examining the productivity level of not only the students, but the schools that conduct these exams. Any misconduct or irregularity may distort the educational system and portray a negative outcome of the learning process, especially when it comes to national examinations. A critical aspect, you agree with me, that shapes the future of candidates who partake in these slated exams. On Platform, we put a spotlight on the activities of the National Examination Council. Now, they conduct both the junior and senior secondary school certificate exams. And one of the core mandates of the National Examinations Council, NECO, as espoused in the Enabling Act, is the conduct of the exams, like I mentioned, that is at junior and secondary level. But a lot of salient questions comes to mind. How has the council been able to carry out its mandate effectively and fulfill the right obligations of meeting global standards? We'll be looking at an overview of the National Examination Council, and our guest is Professor Dantani Ibrahim Wushishi. He's the Registrar Chief Executive Officer of the National Examinations Council. Thank you very much for joining us, Professor Wushishi.
Thank you very much.
And this is your first time on Platform, right?
Yeah, yes.
We're pleased to have you.
Thank you.
So we'll take you through the profile of our guest, which is actually the tradition on the program, before we introduce our panelists. Professor Dantani Ibrahim Wushishi is an erudite scholar and a seasoned administrator. He has served in the Nigerian Navy between February and left as a warrant officer education. His first degree and master's degree, as well as PhD, is in science education. Professor Wushishi has served as a lecturer at the Department of Science Education that's the head of Department of Science Education, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida University, until his appointment as Registrar and Chief Executive Officer of the National Examinations Council. That was in 2021. He was a professor of science education, chemistry actually, at the Federal University of Technology, Minna. Professor Wushishi has served in more than 33 university committees, boards, either as chairman or a member. He is a recipient of more than 37 award certificates for excellence in his leadership. I'll just mention some of them: Niger State Service Award, Africa International Media Organization, Leadership Quality Award, Arewa Coalition for Good Governance and Transparency in Government, Icon of Social Development, Northern Youth Ambassadors. There's a whole lot of it to his credit. We'll leave it there. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Very impressive, I must say. Our panelists, of course, when we're talking education, we have no other person than the head of education desk for us here in NTA, Rashidat Mustafa Olagunju. Thank you so much for joining us on Platform. Always a pleasure. All right, Professor Wushishi, just recently, NECO released the examinations of the senior school certificate exams, and quite commendable. We saw the scores higher compared to last year. And the malpractice aspects, that's a story we'll discuss in the course of the conversation. But let's, look at the narrative for Nigeria on a larger scale when we're looking at national examinations and the efforts as part of your mandate to ensure that these aspects that shapes the future of, our students, young people who partake in these exams are, well streamlined for the nation, because that's actually an aspect that takes them to the next level of the educational career. So tell us, how has it been for the council?
Thank you very much, viewers. Let me start first and foremost by giving a brief on how the National Examinations Council came about. because it will assist us very much in understanding why the mandate of the council and how far the council is faring in pursuit of the mandates. It all started in 1977 when there had been outcries of so many irregularities that was going on that time with the examination body that was conducting examination at that time. So stakeholders were agitating for a national examination body. So in 1999, at the National Council of Education, the 46th minutes of the council at Abeokuta, it was approved that the National Examinations Council should be established. So that was how the National Examinations Council came to being in 1999 by the administration of former head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar. And basically to conduct national examinations for primary school leavers, that is the National Common Entrance Examination, for junior secondary leavers, the Basic Education Certificate Examination, and the Senior Secondary School leavers, which is the Senior School Certificate Examination, internal, which is school-based. And also provision was made for those that have failed other subjects and have not been able to meet up with the required credits for admission into tertiary institutions. So those candidates will take the external SSC examination, which is like a private examination. Individual candidates register to remediate what they have failed. So, and this is the examinations we are conducting for the nation. And so far, since inception, NECO has been doing well. I think from 2000, from the year 2000, NECO had conducted examinations for over 32 million Nigerians from 2000 to date. And if you look at the performance, you find that across the nation, even and abroad, you find a candidate that sat for this examination being professionals in so many fields. Many are professors, many are engineers, many are pharmacists. I think the focus is still on. And recently when I took over, we have to reposition the council in order to have an optimum performance. Because before I came, there have been complaints, a lot of complaints. When you hear NECO in the news, it was that time very bad news because of accusations here and there. So when I came in, I felt NECO is like a foundation for the development of this country. Because anybody who becomes a professional and adding value to our country, Nigeria, will have to pass through that particular level. So we felt the institution is very, very important, and it's not an institution that we will joke with. So we, I visited so many states and found that we had a lot of deficits that has to do with infrastructure, that has to do with provisions of things that will make examination go smoothly. So with that in mind, we felt we need to refocus and reposition NECO. And to the extent that infrastructure such as chairs, tables were grossly inadequate. Today in NECO, you don't have that complaint from staff. Our staff will be proud to receive our clients from any part of the country into our offices.
We are talking about office infrastructure now.
Office infrastructures.
Okay, well, we'll delve into all of that, looking at the deficit, the challenges and all of that. Rashidat wants to come in now. So
okay, because now we are talking about NECO. This is an examination on the level of, with maybe WAEC. Okay, how will you compare the two in Nigeria education now? NECO is our own.
Yes.
WAEC is West Africa.
I think as far as national examinations is concerned, first I will start by showing the result of researches carried out by experts in the country, comparing the level of questions that have been set by both WAEC and NECO. And a lot of researchers have shown that they are at par. And in recent times, even NECO is doing better. NECO is doing better because we keep improving on the processes of the conduct of the examination, and particularly things that has to do with examination malpractice. So we are doing better. More so that NECO is the largest examination body if you consider NECO as an entity. WAEC is a West African examination body which comprises about 5-6 countries that owns it.
Yeah.
And we conduct the largest examination when you consider that, and also conduct examinations in 6 African countries. So we NECO is very large. We used to say NECO is the largest in Africa because we went to Kenya about 2 months ago to attend the African Education Assessment Body, our association. There is no country that conducts the number of examination we conduct and handle the number of candidates that we are handling. You find them handling maybe 500, 300 candidates, some that are even many 700 candidates. So, but here we are, in only one examination, we handle close to 1,500 candidates. So the National Examination Council is really faring well by in recent time introducing so many solutions that will make examination procedures so easy, efficient, and effective.
Okay, can we talk a bit more about the solutions, Professor, so far?
For example, in the process of generating or developing test items, before I came, it was done manually. Individual item developer will go on his own to develop the items based on the syllabus. But when I came, I felt it is necessary that item developers assess world-class and current knowledge and skills that are available in international databases. So we subscribe to IGNORI. We make sure that we connect the council with internet, where every staff will have access to the internet and do his or her work by generating items, going through the internet, through the database. You access current knowledge basis. So we did that. And also recently we launched NECO E-Verify, and this is a platform where stakeholders verify and validate results of candidates who sat for our own examination. Before I came, it was done normally. Last year, between February and September, we received requests for confirmation of result to the tune of over 400 from more than 50 countries. So how do you handle this manually? So it will take time, and stakeholders will be waiting for a longer period before they assess their. So that was the reason why we said we must go E, because that is the international best practice. This was how the NECO E-Verify came about. And in 1 month of the launching of the NECO E-Verify, more than 100 candidates were verified from more than 5 countries, including UK, United States of America, Qatar, Malaysia, and Saudi Arabia. So this has made things very easy for us, and it provided us with so many opportunities to do our work easily.
Seamlessly.
And yes.
Okay, Professor, I like the fact that the council has gone digital, and also for students, it's easy for them to just register on the portal and all of that, compared to how it started. Because I remember I was among the second set thereabouts who partake in NECO, and that time it was a means of like providing an alternative for people who didn't pass WAEC, you know, and if you're opportuned, you could sit for NECO. But there was that acceptability aspect, you know, in universities. Not every school want to accept your NECO result, but we're glad that that has changed.
Yes,
that has changed over time.
Yeah.
But if you want to, you know, look at the body as a whole in terms of improving more on its capacity, because it's a process that and the end result we want to see is progress, even for the students and for the council. Capacity building, how much effort has gone into that?
A lot of effort has gone into capacity building since I came in 2021. And from the handover note that I got and the briefings from the 11 directors that I met, the last they had a capacity building workshop was in 2004. As I speak with you.
2004?
Yes.
Wow.
Between 2004 and 2021. So, between 2021 and now, no one will, we have lost count of the number of capacity building conferences, seminars that we are having. In fact, right now, if you go to the council, seminar is going on. So, both within Nigeria and abroad, we send our procurement officers to Dubai for a capacity building workshop. So we sent some to UK for capacity building workshop. And we sent so many professional departments like account and finance, audit, psychometric. In fact, it was just last week that we finished a psychometric workshop for those that are concerned with analyzing our items that have been generated, and those that are also concerned with analyzing trial-tested items for the council, because we must trial test the items that are generated. We must make sure that those items satisfy psychometric properties with a table of specification before we bank them ready for examination, because we have to do that over and over again, so that those items are the ones that will be falling back on to pick 3 sets for our own examination. So far we have been doing excellently well as far as capacity building is concerned. There, in fact, we have a strength of about 3,500. Today, the large 80% of our staff have enjoyed capacity building.
That is totally
apart from giving them access to go and further their education.
Prof, you know why I asked that question? Because you have the common entrance to organize, you have the junior secondary school, and then you have the senior school certificate examination. That's a whole lot.
Yes.
And we're talking thousands of students who register for this exam. So it's a huge task before you.
Yeah, yes, very huge, very huge. So we are up to the task, and we are trying to make sure that our staff are up to date. They acquire the requisite knowledge and skills to make sure that they do their work effectively and efficiently. And that is why, in fact, as it is, we are working assiduously well to make sure that we expand the scope of the council, make it compact in such a way that specific duties are assigned to different departments. So I mentioned that when I came, I met 11 departments. And as I speak with you, we have 22 directors. So we have opened up with the help of government. The head of service has given us approval. We turned the zonal offices from coordinators or from just mere office headed by a coordinator to a full-fledged zonal office headed by a director. So we have 6 zonal offices headed by directors, and at the headquarters level, we also expand some of those departments, like the Department of Educational Administration, we have succeeded in getting approval to also introduce the registration department. So we have just appointed director of registration and director test development. So
Prof,
we are expanding.
I think we've enough with the your staff and capacity building. Let's talk about the examination itself. Let's talk about the students. Okay, now what is on ground for the students to enable them partake in a seamless process? Talking about ICT, usually it is CBT. Okay, the ICT, how familiar are the students with the process?
Yeah, as far as the student is concerned, the students are concerned. First, we have to look at what is on ground to ensure that students do not partake in impersonation, that those that register our subjects are really those that sit for the examination.
Yes.
So in 2018, biometric device was introduced to make sure that any student that registers for our examination is the same student that sits for the examination. So in all our centers, we make sure that biometric machines are there. Before you write our examination, you must be confirmed that you are the real candidate that come for this examination. Registered.
Do you have enough biometric machines?
Of course, we have enough biometric
that could cover the whole nation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we had, because when we started with about 18,000. Now we have close to 30,000 biometric machines to cover some of these our centers. So, and we also made sure that the students have it very easily in terms of making sure that the facilities that are provided in the hall for the comfortable examination are made available by schools and by state government. And that's why we carry out accreditation of the centers 2 times in a year. We carry out accreditation February every year for those schools that their time have elapsed. They have to be re-accredited. And fresh schools that are also applying to become centers for our own examination, we go for fresh accreditation. So this October, we are by Monday we will be starting the October accreditation for this year. In fact, for fresh application, we have over 1,000 schools that are applying to become centers of our own examination. And that is for the senior secondary certificate examination. And for the basic education certificate examination, we have close to 100 schools that apply fresh. Then for those for re-accreditation, there are about 500 for the senior secondary school. Then for the basic education certificate, they are just close to 50.
What's the criteria for being accredited?
There are so many criteria that the school will certify. We look at your laboratory. We look at the examination halls, theaters, and classrooms. We must have adequate provision of tables and chairs for students, because we don't allow students to just jam-pack, sit in one place and write. There must be minimum space of 2 meters between students that sits to write examination. So we also look at the library. We also look at the curriculum. We look at also the quality of the teachers, the qualifications of the teachers in the school. We look at also the provision of continuous assessment. How do you keep your continuous assessment? Because it is also it forms also part of the component that will form the overall results of the candidate when he sat for the examination. So all these are things that we look out for when we go for accreditation.
Of schools.
Oh, of schools, yes, accreditation of schools.
Okay, we're talking about biometrics the other time. I mean, for just to ascertain that someone that registered actually is the person that sits or partake in the examination. So talking about malpractices in the system, how have you been able to curb this? Have you been able to reduce it to the barest minimum?
Yes, we are trying our best. From what is going on now, we can beat our chest to say we have reduced it to the barest minimum, but we also require more effort, because the more you close a gap, the more students or some stakeholders that are desperate for their words to pass examination will also be devising ways and means to make sure that their words have advantage to pass examinations very well. We try as much as possible to see that we engage in effective supervision when the examination is going on, effective monitoring of the examination when it is going on. We have internal monitors that we send across the nation, apart from the team of directors that also go around. Myself and my team always go around. Like last examination, myself and my team went to 8 states by road to monitor the examination. We also engage the services of security agencies.
I was going to ask you that.
Security agencies. They also submit their reports of the performance of the entire examination. They assess when there is malpractice. They report their malpractice in detail. So far this year, we had their reports. Their report has given us a very clean slate that it is one of the best examinations that we have so far conducted in recent times. Also, we have also independent monitors. They will write us as stakeholders in their states that they want to monitor the conduct of the examination. We write them back, giving them approval to do so, and at the end of the exercise, send reports to also that we analyze it, because we have a department with a division that takes care of malpractice, purely malpractice.
I'm sure why Rashidat asked that question is because that has been, I won't say a norm, because it's not supposed to be a norm. We'll pick up with that aspect after this break. Please stay tuned.
What are we doing as a nation to first of all settle our teeming populace, especially
NTA's political package with a third eye on the nation's political scene? I am Fisa Ogunfuyi. Welcome.
You have to be very careful giving space to people who are obviously sponsored to further the agenda of some other groups.
There's a lot of questions. A lot of questions in a closed door sessions. Some of these issues, some of the problems bedeviling of their.
In fact, between June 1st and July 17, 19-point-something billion has left the coffers of the NDDC.
I can say my constituency, they need everything, because we don't have anything.
Thank you for being there. The conversation is still on an overview of National Examinations Council here in Nigeria. Prof, I was just going to bring up, follow up to what Rashid had asked you on the malpractice issue. It's a very serious issue. Yeah. And I know you hold it dear to your heart. That's why we saw a reduction, 0.13% in the senior school certificate exams that was released recently. I'd like to take a quote you said about examination malpractice. You said it has a tendency to discourage hard work among serious students, which is true, lowers educational standards, discredits certificates, and lead to the production of quacks, thereby affecting the manpower needs of the nation. You said this sometime last year. And there has been allegations, Prof, I'm sure you're aware, of schools also getting involved to help these students. Like I said, an allegation. Are you aware of that? And if you are in the know of that, how has the council been able to put that in check? Because it's eating hard whether we want to cover up. We're not supposed to be looking at the percentage in just bits. We should see it tremendously reduced.
Thank you very much. First, we have to sensitize stakeholders on the ills of malpractice. Last year, in conjunction with the National Assembly, we held a workshop in 3 geopolitical zones of the nation. We started with the Southwest. It was held in Lagos. We moved to South-South. It was held in Uyo. And we came back to North Central. It was held in Abuja here. Stakeholders were highly sensitized on the ills of examination malpractice. And there has not been a time that our staff will go out for examination without briefing them on the regulations and what they're supposed to do as far as malpractice is concerned. So when our supervisors are going out, we ensure that we reiterate to them their responsibilities as supervisors. So we used to have special workshop for supervisors going out for supervision across the nation. In each of the states, we brief them, and we normally hold a one-day workshop for all our supervisors across the nation, the same day before any examination. And we do the same thing in the council for those that are going out for monitoring. And the security agencies too, for those that have been selected to assist us in monitoring, they also brief them. And there are so many types of malpractice and punishment for malpractice. I know there are flashpoints. There are so-called magic centers. So these are flashpoints for malpractice. So we pin those flashpoints down by making sure that we send adequate security agencies to those centers and high supervisors with very high integrity. We send them to those centers to monitor those centers. And you can also observe that in recent years, there's never been cases of serious cases of malpractice to the extent that people or the public is worried about that. So we do our best to make sure that those points are monitored. And once you are caught, the school, like for instance, the whole school malpractice, when the entire school is found wanting as far as malpractice is concerned. Once that has been identified, all the schools that have been identified, we call them to the council, lecture them, show them facts of the committal of malpractice in their various schools and the punishments that go with it.
Yes, I want to talk about the punitive measure.
Yes.
How strong is this? Is this strong enough, or are they strong enough to deter?
Or it's just fine, people pay.
Or just this lecture that you've been talking about, you talk to them, you lecture them. Is there any stringent punitive measure?
Yes, the stringent measure I would say we are applying first is to blacklist the center and blacklist the supervisor, and also send to the State Ministry of Education what that supervisor committed for reprimand.
What about the schools? Has any school been blacklisted?
Of course, we blacklist any school that we see that it has committed a whole school malpractice. We blacklist them for 2 or 3 years.
That's what I want to ask.
For 2 or 3 years. Okay. Yes, for 2 or 3 years.
So the students will be cut out of the exams?
They will be cut out. It is left for them to find a way and means for their students to write their exams, not our own examination. We will never use that center until they finish serving that period of punishment. One challenge that we used to have is you really you really find laws that directly deal with malpractice committed as far as prosecution is concerned in the court of law. So we have looked at that, and we are still looking at the possibility of the fact that once we have evidential documents, we are discussing with our legal unit in legal directorate to see how we will prosecute those offenders in the court of law.
Yes.
So this is this provision of law in our laws in the country is not explicitly written there. So we found it very difficult to prosecute offenders. So, but we are exploring that that way, because I felt it is very, very important we not just blacklist or not just punish by stopping the supervisor from participating in our own exam or the school. We should be able to prosecute
because
offenders.
if that does not happen, then
Yes.
people will look at the measures as just
Yes.
you know, simple measures,
Yes,
something they can get away with.
There are no explicit law
Yes.
that defines
that.
Punishment for examination malpractice.
Is it? Are we talking about just for NECO or generally? Because I know other examinations, examination body, they've been able to prosecute some offenders in recent time.
Such as?
I know JAMB, for instance, they've been able to prosecute maybe 1 or 2 people.
Well, I'm only aware of the recent case of the lady that
even before then.
I'm only aware of that.
Even before then.
Even for her, I don't think she has been prosecuted in the court.
No,
of
she
law.
wasn't prosecuted. No. She was just cancelled.
Yes.
And
so
given our age, but some were actually taken to court.
Especially in the area of extortion from students. I know
because
I'm
even about to come to that, because recently I realized that there's disparity in NECO fee from one state to another. What's actually responsible for this?
I don't understand disparity.
Because give for instance, maybe NECO fee, some will pay maybe 4,000 naira in Abuja. That's for instance. When you go that to maybe Zaria, Kano, or elsewhere, it might be 5,000, 6,000. And I actually made an inquiry. Why is it so?
No, except if the school are playing something different.
Yes,
that's the school now.
Yes, the official fee for NECO is 17,800. In fact, the officially approved registration fee per candidate is 18,000 naira, and that was what we are charging. Okay. WAEC, NAPTEB, and NECO.
But I'm not telling you that some schools are charging more than that, which I think you should look into. For
NECO, we reduce it even by 200. We are charging 17,800. So that is our official rate, and that is what we communicate to government. That is what we communicate to private schools.
So are you going to look into that, what she just brought up?
Well,
going by your findings?
We will investigate to find out if such is going on and who has given them the permission to charge to do that.
Okay,
but you know, officially our rate for registration for the senior secondary certificate category is 17,800.
Okay, Prof, another salient issue that I want to know how well the council has, sorted that. The issue of logistics in terms of transporting sensitive materials to these examination centers. There's been concerns on the use of public transport or private transport. I don't know if that has been put in check. What is the council doing about providing adequate and secured logistics? Because these are sensitive materials being transported.
To be fair to you, when I took over in 2021, I took over amidst the senior secondary school certificate examination in July. So I met such a problem of logistics. The vehicles that were available at that time, I came and found that once a vehicle is detailed, sometimes it breaks down on the way. You see, and we also seek the assistance of our sister agencies like JAM, NAPTEB, INEC to assist the council with vehicle for this purpose. Okay. So in 2022, we had the worst scenario as far as logistics is concerned. For 2022, a lot number of our vehicles had accidents. Some of them broke down. And this very year, when we requested some of our stakeholder sister agencies like JAM, INEC, and NAPTEB, were only able to get very few from NAPTEB because it's a small examination body. They assisted us, I think, with about 5 vehicles, and we do the same thing to them. For JAM, we requested for about 40 vehicles, but we were only able to get 10. For INEC that time, they were preparing for election at Ekiti. We couldn't get any. So with this, we quickly put a request to BPP for procurement of vehicle, because then we were pursuing a refund of some of our money from government. So BPP approved that we purchase the vehicles when we have the money. So, and when the money came, we bought 70 units of single cabin Hilux vehicles to boost those ones that are in the pool. Okay. So for this year's examination, that's why everything went on
the logistics
smoothly.
Was
so it's forming a challenge for the council.
Yes, it was becoming a challenge for the council, but as it is today, it is no longer a challenge as it was before. We need also to be beefing up the number of the vehicles we have in fleet. Okay. We will soon also commission those vehicles, because we need to show Nigerians that this is what we are doing for them, to deliver objective examinations that will be useful across the world.
Okay. Going by your recent examination, okay, can you give us a brief analysis of the figures or ratio of male to female students that partake in this examination?
For this, in fact, the total candidate that registered for this and registered for the examination is 1,205,888 candidates, but 1,196,000 and some hundreds actually sat for the examination, and we had a ratio of about 600,000 male candidates against 500,000 plus female candidates.
Okay. I have a reason for asking that question, Prof. Okay, with this figure now, would you say there is increase in the registration of female students for the examination?
No. I mean, she was heading there.
No, there is no for this year, because it fluctuates. Because there is no particular year that maybe you will have nearly the same number of candidates, because at a particular level or for a particular year, the female at that in school and SSC at that year may be more, depending on the factors for access and registration of the candidate from the junior class.
So it fluctuates.
It fluctuates.
Okay.
In some years we have,
and with that, we can determine whether we have low registration of female in our examination.
No, we do that every year. By the time you look at male, about 600,000 plus.
What I'm saying is not permanent.
It's not permanent. It's not permanent. You have some years the female are more in number than the males.
Okay.
And when you look at even the junior examination, sometimes and most times the girls sometimes are more in number. But by the time they are to move to senior secondary schools, you find the rate dropping. Maybe due to so many other
That's when I'm going to
so, yes,
drop.
Yes.
So what will you say is responsible for that? Well, from junior secondary school to senior secondary school, we have low turnout.
From junior secondary school to senior secondary school, there are several factors depending on the geopolitical region or depending on the state. Like for instance, in the north, maybe ladies that are very, very matured who want to get married before they continue their schooling. And some states have provision for those girls that don't want to continue after marriage. They have a women college. Like in Niger State, we have women college. Even after you get married, you can continue in women college, write your NECO exam, and move to tertiary institution.
Prof, we're gradually winding down this conversation. Very important, you know, the future of these candidates, whether at a very junior level, talking about common entrance, or at the junior secondary school level. These are people, or children rather, who have a future that we must protect. And it boils down to the parents. What's your message to parents as regard moral guidance? Because a lot must be shaped at home. They say charity begins at home before we go out there and want to see that translate in society.
Let me add to that so that Prof will answer. Talking about parents, we have this issue nowadays where parents will register underage children for examination. How is the council working to curb this?
Okay, so just tie all that around, Prof.
Well, my counseling for the parent, morally, we have responsibility for our children. And we should know that their future is very, very important for the nation. So, the process of schooling, there are criteria. But some parents want to accelerate the schooling of their ward by jumping them or making them to start earlier than the required age, which is not always good. As an educator, I know it's not always good for the child because there is there are specific age level, yes, that a child is supposed to start. Then also, some parents want their wards to study a particular subject, so and they will insist on the child getting into the class where that child will have the opportunity to study that subject, even if the child does not have the capacity for doing so. So, and parents should make sure that at least they do their best in making sure that they train their wards, at least traditionally, because moral instruction in the family follows a traditional system where you instill moral value of the society that you belong to into the child, and the essence is for the child to be useful to the society itself, not any other culture. But recent happening shows that our traditional society is being infiltrated by foreign culture. So, and this foreign culture is eating deep into our moral fabric. You find that what is not supposed to be done by a child or a parent, it is what the parent will feel it is fanciful for him and the child, or to guide the child towards doing that.
Okay, Prof, very briefly.
So parents should please make sure that there was reached the required age level before they take them to any level of schooling.
Okay, Prof, we have to let you go now, but what's the future for the Examination Council?
Very, very bright and excellent future for the examination body, because for what we are putting in place today, it will be very difficult for someone to come and reverse it. But anybody that will come will see reason why he should step up the tempo in repositioning the National Examinations Council for the betterment of this our nation. For me, it is a renewed hope for the National Examinations Council, if we go by the agenda of
the present
administration. And that is why we are working assiduously well to make sure that we conform with best practices, global best practices. That is why we are introducing the use of ICT in all view of
Professor,
our
we have to
and
leave it there.
departments.
I know you're an educationist, you're passionate about this, and that's more than seconds. You just summarized this. Well, thank you very much, Professor Dantani Ibrahim Wushishi. He's the Registrar and Chief Executive Officer of the National Examinations Council. We wish you the best. Keep up the good work you're doing, and may God, help the council to have that renewed hope agenda achieved. Rashidat Mustafa Olagunju, our head of education desk here in NTA, we do appreciate your time always on platform. Thank you,
Ruth.
All right. So we've been looking at an overview of the National Examination Council in Nigeria. There's a whole lot already in place that we want to see translate to a better future for our children, especially those that are coming behind us. Let's let our education, be something that we will be proud of to nations. And that's Platform. I'm Ruth Aguele. Bye.